Okay, so we'll start the recording. That's Hashem. Okay, so let's see if we can finish Shav'ah today. So, what do we speak about? We've been speaking about last time again. The ofen of tefillah, really this idea and this concept that we said last time about going beyond nature. That when there's something that, when a person's life is at stake, when a person feels the pressure, when a person feels, the fire coming at him, he has these kochas that are just unlocked within him, that he didn't even know he had. And it's the same concept we're saying with tefillah, that it should be like an internal Shav'ah, an internal scream, is that when we actually recognize and we really contemplate and we realize what are these things that we're davening for and how much we really need them, then ultimately that's going to change our entire mode of feeling and bring us to a place of Shav'ah, which we have to constantly, we have to consciously work to bring. Right? One of the examples we said before is like Parnasa, for example, right? Again, like the way we kind of contemplate Parnasa and whatever it is okay, good. I need some nice Parnasa, I need some nice money, so I can do this and everything. But he's like, if you really think about it, if you don't have Parnasa, like you have nothing in this world. You have nothing. They say like it's an ani kames, right? Like it's like a poor person's like you're dead, mamish. Like because you don't have anything. You don't have food. You can't have a family. How could you don't have clothes? What do you do? So when you realize how much you need Parnasa, all of a sudden your Barech Aleinu changes from this just like, okay, Parnasa, to like, we're saying like internally, whatever it is, like a real, just like what, as if like the jets were turned on. Like you realize that your entire Parnasa depends on how you daven, then all of a sudden, you're about to turn on the jets internally, right? That's the idea of Shav'ah we're talking about. So, and then we spoke about last time about, that was like David HaMelech, right? Like how he unlocked all this power to dance in front of the Sefer Torah, and all these different ideas. And he's going to bring that now, Lamais. We spoke about the Avos, right? I think that's where we were talking about last time, about the Avos, how they always awaken this quality within them. Like everything was just like, was something they needed, was something legit. That was how they daven. So, Bein Yanenu. Hadabar Yoter Pashut. So for us, all this that we've talked about thus far in Shav'ah is a very lofty level. So how does it relate to us? So for us, it's actually Yoter Pashut. It's actually it's more Pashut. Don't worry, it says more Pashut. Why? When a person contemplates and thinks about what he's davening for. Right, there's power play. It's a song. It's chill. Okay, but Hashem, purify my heart, and guide my heart to Avdecha be'emes, to avodas Hashem be'emes, to true avodah in this world. Right? It says okay. In general, it's nice pasuk. Shehare blizeh lam l'chaim. If a person contemplates as he actually says those lines of entirely being Avdecha be'emes, if he actually really thinks about it for a second, that what is he even saying? Without this, without Avdecha be'emes, without entirely beinu, then we have nothing. We're not living. We have zero. It's so much more essential, more necessary than anything in the entire world to have a tar leif, right? To have a leif tar and to be on this path of avodah be'emes. And if we don't get that, you're going to fall to Gehenna. That one moment of Gehenna is worth all the suffering combined in this world. So then when you realize that and you think about that, and all of a sudden the way you're going to scream out internally, is going to change. This is when you contemplate and you realize that your entire life depends on this. Then all of a sudden, it's as if the fire was just lit under you. And all of a sudden you got to run. You got to move. And if all the suffering of the world falls in it, it's the same thing here. That let's say all the assertive of the entire world came together, combined in a person. Is it not a vada that the person is going to immediately just turn and start screaming out to whoever could help him? He's going to start screaming and asking passionately with everything, with fervor. Who can help me? Somebody help me. It's the same thing here. That when we realize and we recognize, again, this is building upon what we said before in the previous section, the section of Bitzer. This is, see, we're building on that right now. We're building on that concept of always being in this state of recognizing that we're in need. That we're in need of stuff, and then now how do we channel that tefillah? This is how we have to channel it. We have to imagine it like this. It's something we really need. Right, and similar to the same tefillah of bnei beischa kvat chila, davening for the Beis Hamikdash. Right, kama tzarich leisragish betefillah al yidei izbonus deflazu. How much do we have to contemplate this, and the fact that we're missing the Beis Hamikdash. Ve'ilu piv mole bechi v'tza'ako kayam. Right, and if mamish, a person would be filled with as many tears as there is water in the sea. Lo yaspik b'chdei levakesh bakasha zu. It wouldn't have enough tears to even make this bakasha, if you actually think about it. And this is a whole other shiur about, how do we connect to the Beis HaMikdash and all these different things. But in Pashtus, right? What's the idea of the Beis HaMikdash? I mean, in simple, and this is like he's kind of just saying it. I'm just saying a little more just to expound on it. So I think that's a very difficult thing for a lot of guys, is to really daven, to really say like Yerushalayim and these different tefillas, at Semach, all these things with like mamish, like passion, and because it's hard to connect to the concept of the Beis HaMikdash. And ultimately, the way I think to connect to the Beis HaMikdash and recognize that it doesn't, and if you really think about it, I think it's actually not so hard to contemplate and to come to a feeling of lack of the Beis HaMikdash. Why? Because just look around. All it takes is just think about life for 1 second, right? Look at everything. There's two things that we see. Number one, Hester Panim, right? In the Beis HaMikdash, you know what the Beis HaMikdash was? You saw the Shekhinah. There was no suffix. There was no such thing as Emunah doubts. No such thing. That was the Beis HaMikdash. Nobody had any doubts in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Everybody saw him. You wanted to see Hashem, you just go to the Beis HaMikdash and you see Hashem. That was the Beis HaMikdash. That was one. Number two, how all Klal Yisrael was just one. There was no this, there was no shtuyot, there was no why you machmir, why you shtikol machmir, yeshiva sha machmir, yeshiva sha shtikol modern, yeshiva sha shtikol chasidisha, neo chasidisha, iPhone yeshivish, smartphone yeshivish, Android yeshivish. There was no shtuyot. I'm serious. I've heard these terms. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, there's like stupidity stuff. You know what I'm saying? And not the iPhone. That's the same group. Same chevra over there. But I'm saying like all this like ridiculousness didn't exist. And the reason we lost it was because we started falling down this path of ridiculousness. But just those two things. Look at how much sorrow there is. Look how much, and forget even within our circles. Like, look how much disconnect we have from other Jews. Like all over the place. Like there's such a disconnect. Like, where are we right now? Where are we heading? Like, I don't even know. The only place we could be heading is the Beis HaMikdash. Like, really think about that, and really think about the state of what we're in right now, then ultimately, like, when you think about the two things that we're going to have when we have the Beis HaMikdash again, which is you're going to be able to see the Shekhinah, you're going to be able to understand that Hashem is real, you're going to be able to connect to Hashem in a way you can never even imagine in this way. What is that? Mad hype. It is mad hype. It's mad hype. Mamish. And you'll be able to see other Jews as just the Shamas. You don't have to look at the other people, blocking the highways and starting problems on Shabbos and all these things. Like they don't have to be our enemies. Like, we're all like one neshama. Poof. Like that. If that's not enough to bring a person to a bakasha, just to imagine that. He says, contemplate that. He says, now you understand. You think about that. Why do we need a dominant Beis HaMikdash? That's just a shtickle. I mean, that's like my like basic. Like, there's infinite more reasons why we need the Beis HaMikdash, but that's just like a couple basic points just to awaken kavanah. It says, think about how badly we need it. That's going to light your fire, right? It's going to light the fire. V'chein amru chazal in Sanhedrin, Rabbi Akiva, b'shah shatzia mitas Rabbi Eliezer Agadol, shaya maka b'besaro ad shedamo shoded la'aretz. That when Rabbi Akiva saw the coffin of Rabbi Eliezer Agadol, and what did he do? He started cutting his flesh until blood started flowing onto the ground. And everybody knows the obvious problem with this. Hikshu b'tosvos, hare also we should let this go to do. We know even Isser Deraisa of let this go to do, which is you can't cut yourself. When your relative dies, you can't cut your flesh. Right? It's also to do that. It's also to inflict a wound on yourself in mourning. V'tir to b'tosvos, the al divrei Torah mutter. And Tosfos says something wild. The al divrei Torah mutter. That when you lose Torah, al divrei Torah, you're allowed to cut yourself. Not over relative, over Torah. Psh, it's wild, right? What's going on here? Why? So now you have to understand. That's a crazy. Tosfos was out of hand, no? You think so, until you realize Tosfos knew how to learn. Ush v'shamati. That was like a Rosh line. But nobody here is in the Rosh, but that was like a Rosh line. V'shamati. Biore inyan. V'shem agon orchaim shmol levitz. Zeh chesarach bracha. She is soda isser. What's the soda of the isser of lotis go to do? Ksiv lefanav b'Torah in Devarim. Bodim atem Hashem lokeichem. Lotis go to do because you are children of Hashem. Don't cut your flesh. Why? What does that mean? V'ainu shemisha chov ba'atzmo ka'asher meis krovo. Mara bazeh shemei achshav shechas eloes osa karov. Then now that he lost that person close to him, chayav eno chayim. He's basically showing if he feels the need to cut himself by cutting yourself, by inflicting physical pain on yourself in your loss, says you're basically showing like I have no reason to live anymore. Right? You're taking your physical body, you're opening wounds. You're taking blood out. You're literally I have no reason to live anymore. Mara bazeh shemei achshav shechas eloes osa karov. Now they show that since you're losing that person, chayav enam chayim. He says, but wait a minute. Are you really alone? Why do you have nothing to live for? Are you not banim atem Hashem? Ich tomar shechayech einam chayim. How could you be one to say that your life is not a life of chayim? When there's always a Kadosh Baruch Hu there to love you, and Hashem is always there to be close to you. So by you ripping your flesh and saying, then there's no point in me living anymore. It says, okay, you lost your relative, 100%, and we have mourning outlined for that, and we have things to do, and we have whatever it is. But to actually basically uproot your life and uproot your own self and basically say, I don't need to live anymore, he says that goes against our entire religion. That Hashem is always there, no matter what. And Hashem is close to us, no matter what. Avala divrei Torah, hachaserim shapir mutter. Why? Shebe emes kenhu. Because life does lose. What does that mean? The came on the chaslam divrei Torah, kvar chayav einam chashuv in the klum. Because when a person loses Torah, when a person loses the Torah, it is as if his life is nothing. Mamish. Because when you lose Torah is, what do we just say, standing go? Hashem. When you lose Torah, which is the ikar connection to Hashem, then yeah, you don't have chayim. Says fine. That's when you can cut yourself. That's when you cut yourself because you're alone. You're alone. And we have to, and surely we have to he says lament over this loss, right? Again of Torah. So the reason why was Rabbi Akiva to cut himself because it felt like he was losing mamish Torah, losing his connection to Hashem in this world. Mamish. That's the idea when we look at. So this is how Rav Ari Shiur has explained it. It's a wild point. It's a very deep point. Right? But ultimately he's saying that the reason you're allowed to cut yourself over divrei Torah according to Tosfos is because of the fact that we said the reason you can't cut yourself is because of the fact that if you're basically saying that I don't feel like Hashem is close to me. I don't need, if I lost this person, I have nothing else to live for. But he says once you lose the Torah, then that's basically what's happening. And then you cut yourself. Wild. And he says this is the type of thing that you need to land this. So what does this mean? And so the point is, what do we just describe? We just described the tzara of Rabbi Akiva, right? Let's understand what the Maisa, what we're talking. How does it connect? Because this is Rabbi Akiva. This is what Rabbi Akiva in his level. Oh yeah. Okay, fine.
That's what makes sense.
Beautiful, good, exactly. Thank you for clarifying. Thank you for pointing it out. 100%, right? So ultimately, the point is that for his Rebbe, right, when he lost his Rebbe, that he felt the pressure. He felt it. He started screaming out that when he lost the Torah. When he realized that he was losing some Torah, he couldn't control himself anymore. He just lost himself in his screaming, in his sorrow. Right? That's the idea. Now, Lemaisa, to our level, don't do that. Completely also for all of us. Don't think about it. Right? That this level in Madriga we're talking about, this is way out of our minds. Don't even big this guy. Get out of here. It says this is way out of our minds. This is way beyond us. Way beyond this. But all of us are capable of touching it. We can all touch this level. We're all capable. Just like we said before. We all have the ability. That's why Hashem instilled within us. We said this at the beginning. Hashem instilled us on the ability to do all this. Right? That he says, and you can even touch it just a little bit. We have shaykhs to this Indian. How do we have shaykhs to this Indian? Of being on a level of Rabbi Akiva, of cutting ourselves because we lost Torah, because we feel so much pain, because of something that we need, that we feel like we're like mamish, like mevatel ourselves, and then are crying out to Hashem, right? How can we even say that we're even touching that level? Because he says the answer is that yes, we're not on the level even remotely of Rabbi Akiva, of expressing this on an outward level, in an outward way of cutting ourselves, an outward way of screaming out during davening. Like Milosh Shmoneh doesn't go don't do that, right? So it's not a chitzonistic thing. It says it's a tza'aka pnimis. What does that mean? Sheyada ha'adam b'yavim v'seichalo. That he understands within him and within his seichel. Right? How, and he understands internally how important this bakasha is, how chashuv this is, and how much he needs this. And within his mind, he closes his mouth. Sosam libo, right? Close your mouth. Don't say anything out loud, right? But inside you let out a scream. And nora kfikol, according to your koach. He said, believe it or not. Did I skip? What did I skip?
Yes.
Shkoyach. What did I skip? Thank you. Where did I skip? Did I skip a page? No.
Sorry. Like the bottom half of the second part of the paragraph downwards.
Of which one? Oh my goodness. You're right. Baruch Hashem, shkoyach. You're correct. Sorry. V'tzarich lahavin. Habechi agadol shel Rabbi Akiva. V'yeusho me'achayim. Al shenesu lo torotza shel Rabbi Eliezer agadol. Right, so we have to understand the tremendous tzara and the crying of Rabbi Akiva and the despair that he felt when he lost the Torah of Rabbi Eliezer agadol. V'ava bishu azmei agadol tanaim. And even though Rabbi Akiva himself was a gadol of tanaim, he himself was good. Like what? Okay, fine. Shkoyach, he lost Rabbi Eliezer, but you're Rabbi Akiva. Like I don't know. Like Akiva reads a book about it every day. I'm sure you can tell. He's probably pretty good. He's a good guy. No, I don't know if every day you read it, but he's a good guy, right? And we have a good Akiva in he's pretty good, Rabbi Akiva, right? What do you think? It's pretty good. Okay, fine. It's pretty good. Seems like a pretty good guy. You know how to learn. Okay, fine. Ve'im kain, kol shekain, she'anu lo tanaim, ve'av lo amoraim. For us, we're not tanaim. We're not amoraim. Right? Lo rishonim, lo achronim. We're not rishonim. We're not achronim. Al achas kam v'kama. Shet srichim anu lahargij saras ha'eder mekedesh Hashem. Right? Mekedesh Hashem b'harei im haya beis hamikdash kayim. Hainu gam anu tanaim mamish kipshuto. Right? And he's saying that the idea is that what do we have to feel? We have to feel all the more so. This is talking about the concept of bnei beis chachila, right? So we're not Rabbi Akiva, who himself was a Tana. There was plenty of other Tanaim around, and this is the tzara he felt over losing one Rebbe. All the more so, kol sheken kavachomer, there's a million. The tzara we need to feel, the pain we need to feel, the lack we need to feel without the Beis Hamikdash of Hashem. We would also be Tanaim. We're going to have this level of being able to see things like Tanaim when Mashiach comes, when Bez Hashem with the Beis Hamikdash. Shekol ikar Yeridas Hadoros, the ikar of Yeridas Hadoros, hi mipnei Malka Israel Bagoyim Ein Torah, because there's no Torah. If im kain ezot sara nitzchis yesh lechol echad meitanu la eder madregasa b'torah mechamas chor beis hamikdash. None of us can even think in how we're going to fill this lack of what we're missing without the beis hamikdash. Ubeezot surah tzarich lispalakach, and with all the koch we have, we need to daven for this. And this is what we said. Vehine pshitahu the madregazo b'tzorah shel tefillah. This level tefillah gedolah he means gavam meitanu mode. It's much higher than us. But all of us are able to tap it. We're able to touch it a little bit. Rather, it's an internal scream, right? We said it's an internal feeling. It's not external. It can't be external. We can't just be screaming in the middle of Shemona Esrei. Don't be that guy. How essential this bakasha we're asking for is. It says this is not as difficult as you might think. This might sound like a foreign concept. With your mouth closed in the middle of Shema Esrei, to scream out to Hashem, to imagine like it's at the same level of the lack that Rabbi Akiva felt when he went, and that he was ready to just like chop himself up, mamish, like that level of feeling. It's not something we can express externally. None of us can. We're not on that level. And it's not a madriga any of us should strive to, because we're not going to hit it. But where we could hit that is internally. And if you try this, if you realize that, and I remember after I learned this, I tried this, and it works. It's crazy. It really helps you connect, and you really tap in this concept of screaming on the inside, right? You can't scream on the outside, but scream on the inside. No one's watching, just you and Hashem. No one knows how loud you're yelling. No one knows what you're screaming about on the inside. It's just you. You don't have to be embarrassed. It's just you and Hashem. But those tefillahs, we're saying the tefillahs of Shav'ah go like this. They go like that. Those screams on the inside. The kvar kos of Rabbeinu Chaim Evolaj Zecher Sakosh Bracha B'Din Alimud Sheyochla Adam Lilmud B'Sha Achas, that we know that it's a B'Dera Klal. One person can learn within 1 hour. Ma'asherchem Lomdim B'Aser Shos, and when other people learn in 10 hours. Ve'akol Lefi Rov HaZrizos, and it all depends on your zrizos. Your alacrity according to the art scroll Messias Yisharim that everybody knows, right? Right, exactly. I remember for years. Every guy always goes. We always hit that like dictionary line. Like, what the heck does this mean? Like alacrity, okay, whatever. There's rizos, the koach. How much do I want it? How much am I putting into it? How much emotion am I putting into it? The same concept is with tefillah. If a person comes to even one moment of havana and proper feeling, you feel this for even one moment. How your entire nefesh is dependent on this. Even for a few moments, right? As kol kolchosa betfilah and you just scream your head off inside for just a moment. How close do you want to get to Hashem? You don't need to. You're not supposed to daven the whole Shema Esrei. It's not possible to maintain this level, but just a couple times in certain places, right? Or if you have some sort of tzara, and that you need to exert yourself and just start screaming bakashas of Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Nobody could tell on the outside. Shum tenu azara. That even nobody could even have any idea. Nobody could even tell how precious and wonderful this moment on the inside is. You don't have to be struggling like a madman in order to do this. You don't have to not do anything. Just in the moments of just sitting there, one moment, just standing straight, nobody has any idea. You could end up tapping into the most deep and powerful places of tefillah. Just screaming on the inside. And in a small moment, you can achieve this great closeness with Hashem. In this one moment, this crazy closeness that you never thought you were capable of. And you can attain so much bracha in that moment to come right down to you in asagos of Ava, levels of Avas Hashem, and Tvekus Hashem, and Siyat Dishmaya, and all these different things. You realize what he's saying? He's saying Kerega Kazeh. He's being medayik. He's not saying that it's your whole tefillah. He's saying Rega Kazeh. Rega can be half a second. Just a half a second of this one moment of just screaming with all of your kochos to Hashem. Who knows? Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it'll work. Right? It doesn't matter. Just put all your koach for 1/2 a second. And what are we going to get? It'll become second nature to you. And with this, you're going to go level by level. After Hashem we go like a lion roars. Right? Like a lion roars. That's the inyan of Shav'ah. That's the ikar of Shav'ah. The way to scream out on the inside. Just let out this scream on the inside. Whatever it is, whatever it is, in Shema Kol, whatever it is, just like yell on the inside. Nobody, and make sure nobody knows. It's like that. It's the most simple, most beautiful moment that you could possibly get. You're able to achieve levels that tzaddikim can't even achieve if they don't try. If they're not trying one day. So they can achieve. Okay, but either way, the idea is that we're able to achieve levels that we never thought we'd be able to be capable of. And he says, worry by you doing this tomorrow, during Shacharis, whenever it is, whenever Shema Esrei Yidavin, you have the ability to tap into the same koach of Rabbi Akiva as he was literally cutting his skin off in pain over the loss of the Torah. You have the ability to tap into that same exact koach, and Hashem will view it in the same exact way. That same level of piety, the same level of tzaddik, of Rabbi Akiva, that we could tap in for a rega. Just a rega. He says just a rega. That's all we need. It's just a rega. And that's the inyan of Shav'ah. That's the ikar of Shav'ah. And again, this is another method of how to apply to our davening. Shav'ah is another way to apply to our davening. And a method of how we're supposed to be davening. We might not be able to daven the whole davening like this, but in certain places where you get to the line of, let's say, V'tahir libeinu le'avdecha be'emes, or wherever it is, again, you can be in Tehillim, you can say in Tehillim by yourself, it doesn't matter, any moment, just like internally. Like, I'm not going to demonstrate because I can't demonstrate. You all know it, just figure it out. It's internally. It's not for anybody to know. Everybody does it differently. You just say it with this passion and this screaming as if you feel the real lack. You feel the lack of a leiv tahar. You feel the lack of the base of metash ken bnei beitz chok batchila. Like you actually feel that lack. You see around us. How is it possible? Mamish. Like we're all like sitting here, we're chilling. Do you guys know what's happening tomorrow morning? You know what's happening tomorrow? We're getting back from a bunch of vilda chaya behemoths, a body of a baby, in exchange for murderers. Where the heck is this sick world right now? What are we in? Where's the base of Mikdash? If we had the base of Mikdash, we wouldn't have to deal with that. This is sick. It's sick. It's sick beyond belief. It's vile. It's the scariest and saddest thing. And you have people who are like into it. They're like, oh yeah, it's a good trade. It's a good trade. Hey, good bit. Like yeah, you kill way more babies than men. Like, do you realize the sick world we live in? This is the reason we need to scream out when we say B'nei Beit Chakavat Chilo, Et Semach, V'Yushalayim, all these brachas about the Gula. Is the reason there's so many. So that's Hashem. That's the inyan of Shav'ah. Apply it, try it, and the Saraga Bakach. The more you try it, the more regular it's going to get, and it works. All these things, like Rosh Hashanah said at the beginning, the reason why we never connect to tefillah is because we don't know how to daven. He's saying, now I'm teaching you how to daven. Start applying these things, and you're going to see your davening has become a way more immersive experience. To become a way more personal and passionate and connective with Hashem, and you're going to feel it more than you ever have in your entire life. Shkoyach, Bezos Hashem. See the Beit HaMikdash.